This is the story of Henrietta Lacks, a black woman from Virginia whose cells were taken without her knowledge and went on to transform medicine, save millions of lives, and spark one of the most important ethical debates in modern science. Henrietta was born Loretta Pleasant on August 1, 1920, in Roanoke, Virginia. When her mother died in 1924, Henrietta was sent to live with her grandfather in Clover, Virginia, sharing a small cabin with her cousin David, whom everyone called Day. She grew up picking tobacco under the hot, southern sun, a life of hard work and deep family bonds. At just 14, she and Day had their first child. They married in 1941 and eventually moved to Turner Station in Baltimore, Maryland, seeking a better life near the booming steel mills of Bethlehem Steel. On January 29, 1951, Henrietta went to Johns Hopkins Hospital, one of the only hospitals in the area that would treat black patients. She had been feeling a knot in her womb. The doctors found a large, malignant tumor on her cervix. It was an aggressive form of cervical cancer. She was just 30 years old, a mother of 5. During her treatment, a sample of her cancer cells was taken, without her knowledge and without her consent. She had no idea what would happen next. The cells were sent to Dr. George Otto Guy's tissue lab at Johns Hopkins. For decades, Dr. Gay had been trying to grow human cells outside the body. Every sample he tried would die within days. But Henrietta's cells were different. They didn't just survive, they thrived. They doubled every 20 to 24 hours, growing with an almost supernatural vitality. Dr. Gay named them HeLa, taking the first 2 letters of her first and last names. It was the world's first immortal human cell line, and it would change everything. HeLa cells became the foundation of modern biomedical research. In 1954, Jonas Salk used them to develop the polio vaccine, saving countless children from paralysis and death. Scientists used HeLa cells to study cancer, HIV and AIDS, the effects of radiation, gene mapping, and countless other diseases. They were sent into space to study the effects of zero gravity on human tissue. They helped develop in vitro fertilization and were essential in understanding how viruses work. Over 75 years, more than 11,000 patents have been filed involving HeLa cells. More than 50 million metric tons of these cells have been grown. Her cells have contributed to 5 Nobel Prize-winning discoveries. Henrietta Lacks died on October 4, 1951. She was only 31 years old. She was buried in an unmarked grave in Clover, Virginia, the same town where she had grown up. Her family had no idea her cells had been taken. For more than 20 years, they didn't know that their mother's cells, labeled HeLa, were alive in laboratories around the world. When they finally learned the truth, they were devastated. Companies and researchers had made billions of dollars from her cells, yet the Lacks family couldn't even afford basic health insurance. Henrietta's contribution to science was immeasurable, but she was never asked, never acknowledged, and never compensated. The world eventually began to listen. In 2010, journalist Rebecca Skloot published The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, finally bringing Henrietta's story to public attention. In 2013, the National Institutes of Health reached an agreement with the Lacks family, granting them some control over access to HeLa genome data. In 2017, HBO released a film starring Oprah Winfrey as Henrietta's daughter, Deborah, reaching millions more. In 2021, the World Health Organization honored Henrietta for her extraordinary, involuntary contribution to medical science. And in 2023, the Lacks family reached a historic settlement with Thermo Fisher Scientific, one of the companies that had profited from HeLa cells for decades. Henrietta Lacks was a mother, a wife, a woman full of warmth and laughter. She never knew that her cells would outlive her by generations, that they would travel to space, help cure diseases, and save millions of lives. Her story is a testament to the resilience of the human body, and a painful reminder of the injustices that Black Americans have faced in the name of science. Her cells live on, her legacy endures. Remember her name.